Hello and welcome. I'm Jess Campmans, guided by Equus, and this is your Horse Wisdom Insights for Wednesday, September 22nd. Today is the fall equinox, and I'm here at the end of the day. I don't know if you guys can see this beautiful sky behind me, but it's taken the day to kind of find a balance point. And today and this week, it feels like I don't know about everyone, but I know in my personal reality and many, I think right now, that idea of balance seems like really far off. There's a lot of polarity, and yet this idea of balance. Yesterday I took a picture. I was standing up on Noche in the saddle, and I was really happy with myself because earlier this year, I busted my knee and I didn't actually know if I'd ever be able to ride again. And so when I realized that I was standing up in the saddle on top of a horse, and with the need, if that horse moved, to be able to jump off and land, trusting in not only the horse but myself and my abilities. And that's where the idea of balance comes in, because balance is a dynamic function, and it's not even a function, it's an act, right? It's a balancing act. We're always in movement, in reference to something, in relationship to something, to find that balance. And this polarity that feels like a really big word, I've been using it a lot in the last week. And Aine's been she really kind of just hung out with me here, wanting to share in this video, and yet now she's kind of not even really in the video. It is Stormy and Karma, whose soul wisdom is allowing evolution. So Stormy is the soul wisdom of allowing, and Karma is the soul wisdom of evolving, evolution. And I feel like that really actually ties in, because without that sense of 2 points to try and find a balance within, then we don't really have that idea of how to find, how to be with our center, or find our relationship through finding our center, because that's really all balance is finding that central point. And in this day, it's not the whole day that is the equal time of dark and light. It's one moment in this day, one moment in time, and that's what balance is. It's one moment in time where we find that that place where it feels just right. And probably for the rest of our lives, we're trying to replicate that in various scenarios, in various relationships, in various dynamics. And it comes back to finding our center of gravity, and finding that place within our core where everything outside of us, which involves, like, you could talk about your limbs, you could talk about your relationships, you could talk about anything. It comes back to finding that center inside of you, which is where that balance is initiated from. And maybe I feel like I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but this idea of light and dark being that is balanced today, without those two in various extremes, maybe we wouldn't appreciate or be able to find that place within us where we can appreciate and allow both. Because once we can allow and accept ourselves through both of those centrifuges, which actually is like a spinning, right? It's a cycle. So within that cycle, we're finding it's always in movement, in motion, and it's finding that it's like the eye of the storm, right? If you're in the dead center of the eye of the storm, it's calm there. And that really actually feels like that being dropping into that center of our own core. And I guess in reference to this, I have kind of something that I've been working on to help myself create better balance with my knee that I injured. And it's standing on one leg, and I didn't realize, and I can't really remember how good I was at standing on one leg before, and obviously it changed after I lost the function of my one knee. Thank you, Karma. But in order to regain that, it's having to rebuild not only a sense of trust in myself, but a sense of security and a sense of mobility with all of that, which actually relates to my core was really out of alignment. And I love that Karma's just completely turned me around, because that's what it is. It's like this revolving, well, that centrifuge, right? We're revolving in order to evolve ourselves, and just really kind of taking a breath this week to maybe step out of where we feel like we're being engaged from, so we can find what all of this actually means for us, and where we're coming from with everything that we are interacting with right now. And I guess that's kind of always how it is. But maybe this is our reminder right now on this fall equinox day, is to find ourselves within that polarity that we feel, and realize that it's actually an invitation to come back into ourselves in a way that feels right to us. Because if we're doing it for someone else, it's not going to feel right to us. And once it feels right to us, we will then know the actions and the way that we are able to center ourselves in that dynamic movement in relationships. And being able to allow all of it, rather than push things away from us or reject them, or having to force ourselves or others to make decisions. We can only evolve ourselves, and by evolving ourselves and becoming conscious of where we find ourselves in each of these decisions, and being able to come from that central place within us, which is really that power center, right? That relationship between our solar plexus and our lower chakras, so that we can access the higher chakras, and that ability to transcend those things that we consider as lower energies, so that as we find our center, we actually gravitate more towards that center and come back to that time and time again. And I hope this kind of makes sense. And the sky is really turning, and I feel like my brain is kind of turning, but I hope that these words have kind of brought you guys to a way to feel that within yourself. Because once you can feel it, and once you can trust that place within you, you can also trust the decisions that you make that are right for you, and then recognize when something is out of alignment. And once you recognize that something is out of alignment, to find that pathway to come back to yourself and find that answer within you. Because sometimes it was interesting, a decision for me was something that just really needed to be acknowledged within me. And as soon as I acknowledged that, the decision became so much easier. And really, it was just that being out of balance with something, that as soon as I found my way back to my core, like core values, core strength, core inside of myself, decisions kind of become, you're able to trust the decision that you make, and they come easier because you know what's true for you, without a fear of losing your sense of self. So I hope that maybe resonates this week, and thank you to Karma and Stormy, who've been supporting this. And it's a mutual thing too, like they were offering, and that movement, right? It's always moving in that relationship with all of it. So much love from myself and Aini and Stormy and Karma. and this beautiful evening. So take care, and till next week and the last week of September. Stay tuned for more from Gathered by Equus.